Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Yarnflakes Podcast. My name is Audrey and this is a nitty yarny podcast from the southwest of France. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this new episode. I hope you are doing very well. I am more awake than last time, and that's quite nice because I have quite a few lovely things to share with you. Hopefully I can do that in a timely manner. So, chop chop. I have a design release to share with you. I have one beautiful finished project, and I have two new works in progress to share. And yeah, I'm excited about all of them. I hope you like color work and cables, because that's what we're about today. And yeah, let's jump in. You can find timestamps to all the different sections of the podcast in the description down below. So if you want to skip anything, if you're not interested in some rant, feel free to look at that and jump to what interests you. I also put links to everything that I talk about, as well as my social media, my patterns for sale on Ravelry, and my Patreon page. Yay! So, I have published a new design on Ravelry, and I had talked about it quite a lot as I was working on it, so I'm not going to go into too much details about the construction, etc. But it's a little accessory that had quite a life, and it's the Chibin hat. So yay! It is a sport weight hat, so quite nice as a quick accessory to knit for the remaining of the winter, which is quite has been quite warm in France here. It's not very cold. It's gloomy and rainy and meh, but it's still around 10 to 15 degrees, which is quite Celsius. Sorry, freedom measurements unknown. It's quite warm. It's quite warm. So sport weight, nice and light, and really quick to knit. And so I used Ulysses yarn by Rerum Natura, which is a non-superwash woolen spun merino, French merino, and it's absolutely lovely. I used one of their new colorways, which is Merlot, in this burgundy. I have a smaller quantity of this in their worsted weight yarn, and yeah, next winter. And as a contrast yarn, I used the lovely little pinky argile, so clay. And yeah, this is a hat that mixes cables and colorwork, and it does so in a very easy, beginner-friendly manner. So if you're feeling a little bit adventurous and you like to try starting to mix textures and things, this is definitely nice and fun to do. I had lots of beginners in my testers. Some of them never did color work or never did cable, and they all had no issues doing it, and it was all very nice, and we managed to make a pattern super clear and super nice. So yeah, it's basically this sort of architectural sort of glass stained window kind of effect, with really simple cables and really simple dotted color work that sort of all merges into the crown. And oh, Olivia Colman is so amazing in the last season of The Crown. I like her. You can't. That's a glimpse of how my brain works. Sometimes I'm gonna have a conversation with someone and I'm just gonna make a connection and just say the thing, even if it's completely unrelated. That's how we roll. Yay, Chibin. So really quick knit. It's really versatile too. A lot of my testers have actually made them for their partners, male partners, because my testers were all women, and so it's really versatile in non-gender specific thing, and it looks really good in a vast array of colors. And as you can see, I use the woolen spun yarn that doesn't have a sharp definition, and it gives this sort of blurred effect of the cables, but they still stand out against the colorwork because the colorwork has a sharp contrast. and there are some tested versions that are in a more soft contrast, like a light blue and a grayish blue and a cream color, and it looks really good. The one thing we found out is that I would advise, if you are going for a lighter contrast, try and you want cables that pop, try and get a yarn that has a better definition. That way you will have a more sharper look. It all depends on the aesthetic that you're aiming for. So yay, little hat. It doesn't use a lot of yarn. I made mine a little slouchy, a little big, so that it can hang down with the pom-pom. But yeah, as usual, instructions on how to adjust the sizes and how to make it fit however you like, what ease to go for and stuff, and yeah, that's how it looks like. It's named Chibin for the river that goes down Sibiu, which is the Romanian city where we go with my partner in holidays. And this is where the pictures were taken, the snowy pictures. So yay! I did get snow over the holidays and I was super happy, and we managed to photograph 2 designs in the snow, and this is the first one of it. The second one, which I'm very excited about, will come later this month, but this is my first snowy pictured design. And if you have a look at the Ravelry page and you see the pictures I've taken, I don't know why I wanted to wear that white sweater. I wanted to wear it for these pictures. But the problem is, when you don't have a professional camera and you want to look all fancy schmancy, you use portrait mode on your phone, and so it blurs the background. But if the background is white because it's snowy, your sweater is white. You're very white. It's all kind of blurry together. And so it was quite funny, but we managed to take a few pictures where the effect sort of worked, even if it looks like I'm missing a shoulder. But I do really like the pictures that we've taken for this little hat, and I hope you do too. But yes, Chibin is the name of the river that runs in the county of Sibiu, and that's why it's named like this. So yay! I hope you like it. I found it really quick and nice and funny, and there is 15% off the pattern with the code Chibin if you need an extra little help and you actually want to make it for the season now, and you need it now. Basically, there is 15% off until next Tuesday. So yeah, I believe I've said everything about this little hat. Yeah, don't hesitate to go have a look at my testers versions, because they're all very different and they can give you some nice color ideas. So I'm gonna move on to a finished object, which you haven't seen in a while because it was sort of on the break, and yeah, it was sort of a repetitive project. That's once you started it, so wasn't much to say about it, but I finished it, and I'm talking about my Winter Serenade, which is a shawl pattern that I had an absolute crush for when it came out. This is a pattern by Lisa Hannes, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know if she's German or if she's not, and I don't know how to say it. That wouldn't help because I don't know German anyway. But yes, it's basically an asymmetrical triangular shawl with this gorgeous cable motif that we're seeing a little bit at the moment on Instagram, and I absolutely love it as a shawl. I love the results. This is a worsted weight shawl, and I used Squoosh fiber hearts, not hearts, Squoosh fiber arts, ultra worsted, so they're worsted weight super wash merino. I wanted something drapey, soft, shiny, loose, the kind of merino effect. So I treated myself and I got this yarn in the Spice colorway, which is my absolute favorite color. Basically, I wanted it in this color. I wanted this cozy, big, cabley shawl in that color, and so when I saw this yarn. I said that's it, that's the one, and yay, I really like it. So it's huge. I did it bigger than what the pattern sample is. So you start at the tip here basically, and this pattern has a lot of nice finishing touches. On one side you have a I-cord with a little bit of a garter bit, and it's just, I really like the combination of the I-cord and of the garter. I said it already, it's really nice. And on the other edge you have a garter edge that you increase on. Basically you increase every right side row 1 stitch, and you increase, you increase, you increase. You basically, the pattern is divided into 3 sections. First there's the tip, where you basically increase until you have enough stitches to make 1 repeat of the cable, and then you go onto the main part of the shawl where you repeat the cable motif, and each repeat is 68 rows, and you repeat it. The pattern is very nice in telling you how much yarn you need to have left and sort of thing. So basically you repeat until you cannot make a complete repeat anymore, and the sample has 3 repeats, but I did 4. I was able to make an extra repeat, so mine is bigger. And once you've done that, you have the border, which is basically the extension of the cable as a ribbing. And same thing, you basically knit the border for however long you want, however much yarn you have left. I knitted it a bit shorter than what the sample did because I didn't want a big ribbed effect. I thought it would kind of break the rhythm of the cable. I just wanted it to finish the cables nicely, and that's about it. But yeah, as a consequence my shawl is bigger. It's about 1 wingspan and an extra arm more. And I didn't stretch it when blocking. She says in the pattern not to overly stretch, because you kind of want the cables to look plump and nice and actually 3D, and if you overly stretch them, well, they don't look so nice, right? So you want to keep that nice sort of squishy texture, and I absolutely love it. It's, like I said, it's really long, and when I wear it like this, basically it falls beyond my hips. So it's long and it's super nice and soft, and I love the color. It's like my favorite color ever. I really like it. I'm wearing it a bit weirdly. But yeah, it's really nice, really fun to knit. I really like Lisa Haynes' shawl designs because they always have that striking element, that visual thing, like either mosaic knitting or some lace or color work or cables, but they're always, it's not just like, you know, garter stripes and some eyelets here and there. They always look terrific, but actually in the pattern is really well made, and the execution of it is super nice and easy. And for example, this is only 4 stitches cable, so it's nothing complicated, and you do have to pay attention to know what you need to do, but in the end, as soon as you know at the beginning of the row what you're supposed to, where the motif is going, you can kind of know. And every other row is sort of a rest row, meaning that you knit the stitches as they show. So you knit the knit stitches and you purl the purl stitches. So if you keep an eye on the pattern and you notice that it says knit 6 but you only have 4 knit stitches, you're like, I did something wrong on the previous row. And so it's very easy to fix that. So really fun, really pleasant to knit. And yeah, I did use 4 skeins of the worsted yarn because I made it bigger. Definitely could have fit into 3. I do have a little bit all left even, so you don't need to make that big of an investment to knit that shawl if you don't want to treat yourself or not able to, like I did. 3 skeins of worsted, like a bit over 600 meters, is more than enough, and obviously many options as far as yarn goes. And yeah, I just absolutely love this color, and I'm very happy to have it. And since it's superwash merino, even though it's huge, it's not that warm, so I can still wear it now and probably when I go out, just as instead of a coat or something for the early springs. That's gonna be a nice thing to do as well. And yeah, so I think I've said everything. This is my Winter Serenade by Lisa Haynes, and I'm really happy to have it finished now. And yeah, I'm going so fast. Now we are on to works in progress, and so it's gonna be very color worky. So now I am back to my beloved system of having one design project and one personal project. So this really suits me better whenever I need to cast on an extra project because it's an emergency knit or design. I feel it right away. I'm like, what? Elon Musk has been a musician tonight. Okay. My brother follows Elon Musk on Twitter, and he often tells me what's happening. It's quite funny. Don't really know what's happening half of the time on that Twitter account. It's like he has a weird dream and he feels compelled to write it on Twitter, but he's like a multi-millionaire guy with a really important position in tech companies, and so you're like, what are you doing? Are you like, is he actually building that mechanical dragon? Like, ugh. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, whenever I need to have a third project on and it's a bit of an emergency, I'm not feeling comfortable, I need to pause the other one, and I'm like, I feel just much more productive when I can do something, complete it, move on. And hopefully I can maintain that for longer. Yeah, so now that's how it is. They're both colorwork, so I hope you like colorwork. I don't know why, but I'm going to be in a colorwork moment right now. It sort of happened. So I am test knitting a pattern for a French designer called she is Marianne on Instagram. She does publish her patterns in English as well. She has a lot of patterns already out. She makes really nice garments and accessories, mostly garments for both adult and children, and she makes really nice textual things, and it's really cool. And she put out a test call for a cowl that she made, and she made it with the new yarn from La Bien-Aimée. La Bien-Aimée is about to, or has released, or about to release a new yarn, which is Helix, and I'm going to show it to you because I was very fortunate that Aimée contacted me as well, and I'm going to design with this yarn as well. And I just want to show it to you because it's a blend of 75% Falkland Merino and 25% Gotland. Now, I love Gotland. It has to be one of my favorite wool. I wish it was easier to find pure Gotland. I just want pure Gotland sweaters. I have one, my Rotier sweater. I love it. It's brilliant. It's just this metallic aspect, this metallic sheen. It's like it shines, but not like silk or BFL. It's just really has these metallic reflections. I absolutely love the look of it. It's super warm. I love how it feels. Amazing. I'm sort of considering jumping into Fibertail's yarns when she releases them again soon. I kind of want to just get one of the medium grey and make a big cozy sweater. I'll see if I can afford to, but I feel like I'm gonna, yeah, I don't know, have to think about it. I love Gotland. We see a lot at the moment the BFL / Massim or the BFL slash Corlène blend of yarn. And the BFL Corlène is really nice and I love it. But I've never touched merino Corlène, and it's amazing. It's so soft. It's really, it makes it so much softer than with the BFL. It's absolutely lovely. Like the BFL Corlène, I couldn't no, not necessarily neck thing. This is fun. This is so nice. And look at that. You see what I mean with the metallic aspect of it? Absolutely beautiful. And we've been discussing with the designer I'm testing for, Marianne, which says, and I agree, that in the saturated deep colors of La Bien-Aimée, it looks stunning. So basically, like the skeins that La Bien-Aimée kindly sent me are like a combination of these colors. I'm gonna make a color. And by the way, this is my next work in progress. I'm feeling blue. It seems. It seems we're feeling blue. We're feeling very, very blue. But like this is Egelia, and it's lovely. It's a lovely bluish sort of thing, and you can kind of see the shininess of it. It looks a bit funny and I like it. But this, oh my god, in the saturated colors, it's so beautiful. I absolutely love this. This is Emmeline. I basically told La Bien-Aimée that I loved her dark green colors and she picked this one, and wow, I absolutely love how it looks on this base. This is a lace weight base. It has well, light fingering slash lace, 600 meters per 100 grams, and love it. It's made to be held double with itself, with mohair, and love it, love it, love it. Can't wait. This is gonna be my next design, and love it. So the designer I'm testing for, she made a cowl using this yarn. She made a colorwork cowl with a nice little traditional sort of motif using a bunch of different colors, and I really like how it looks. But I wanted to see, because I have in my stash a bunch of Filcolana Saga yarns. It's the new name. It used to be NZL, so New Zealand Lambwool basically, and they changed the name apparently. And I thought it would be a nice substitute for the Helix thing. And yeah, it's the same weight. It comes in a nice plenty of colors. This is 100% wool. It's like lamb's wool. It's soft. It's really, really good for color work. Really nice, perfect substitute. And so I wanted to use this yarn. And then came the thing of the colors. And you know how I sometimes have trouble going for different colors than the one the designer used, but I feel like lately I'm sort of being able to be a little bit more of a rebel in these terms. I feel like I'm daring a little bit more, and for example, the original sample of the cowl I'm testing, it's a white background and then basically it's stripes of the motif and with bright colors, and the first one is like in the blue, green tones, purple tones, and then the second one is in red, oranges tones, and then they alternate like this basically. And I just went completely opposite. I saw this sample, I thought it was really beautiful when I applied to test knit. I thought it's really cheerful, it's really bright and illuminating and lovely. And so I asked the designer, is it okay if I make a completely depressing thing in a grey gradient? And she said yes. So yay for the depressing alternative. Basically I'm really happy because it works. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to stay here. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to use the colors I wanted, because this Filcolana yarn has a great panel of colors, and especially natural colors, and so there's this perfect gray gradient from very light pearl grey to charcoal, almost black. But I wasn't sure that these two were gonna look enough contrasted in the color work. And so, just in case, I had ordered a cream color to use as my main color, just in case. But I'm very happy because actually I can use the pearl grey because it works. And now I have a shawl quantity of a lace weight yarn in white, like the stole of Shetland in these intricate laces, and I kind of feel like that's gonna happen. We'll see. But it works! Look at that! It works perfectly fine. Absolutely love how it looks. I've been wanting to make sort of a neutral greyish colorwork project for a while because I love how elegant it looks, and this is really cool. Really like it. So this is that traditional little motif. It's really fun to do. Basically, you provisionally cast on the stitches and then you knit the colorwork in the round. You make the tube, then you twist it and you graft the ends together. This is how the cowl is constructed. Really nice and fun. You don't have to catch floats, obviously, plus it's gonna be on the inside of the cowl, so who cares? And it's really like a one more section, because the color sections are quite short, you know. You're doing the first contrast color and it's like 3 rows, so you're like, I'm gonna go until the end, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna join the new color, and it's only 2 rows, and then etc, etc, and it's really fun. And I really love the result. I can't wait to block this. It's gonna bloom and it's gonna be absolutely stunning. Really love it. So I've redrawn the chart because I had a little bug in my head when I looked at the chart that the designer drew, because she used her own colors, and so I was like, please. So basically I'm only using 3 contrast colors instead of 6, and I'm just gonna repeat that all over. And so I redrew the chart, and yeah, I really like it. It's so beautiful, and it's quite smooth, it's quite easy and mindless. And yeah, I debated whether I wanted to carry the yarns, because as you can see here, if you look at the dark, it's here, and then it's here. I considered carrying it, not to cut it, but I didn't want to bother with it and to have like a big mark here at the beginning of my row. So I'm cutting the yarn and I'm making little knots. Basically, I'm knotting them together because I don't want to weaving the ends, and who cares. And when I'm gonna block it, it's all gonna sort of felt together because the yarn is really good for that, I feel. And so yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Little thing was that there was a little mistake in the chart, like there was a leg missing here, and I didn't notice it when I first knit the motif, and when the other testers realized it, I'm like, ah. And so I had to duplicate stitch this. Basically I could have left it, but my brain was like, I know it's there, it's not gonna look like the rest of the repeat, it's gonna and so I basically took yarn and I duplicate stitches these little legs over the color I did wrong. So that's why there's lots of knots in it here. It's gonna be on the inside of the cowl, it's gonna merge together when blocking, and I mean the exterior looks, I absolutely love it. Really enjoying this project. I haven't advanced a lot of it on it, but now that this is my main personal project, main and only personal project, I'm gonna be able to make a lot of progress on it in the evenings and the weekend. So yeah, loving it. I'm really looking forward to have more of color work showing through. And still with color work, we can talk about my next work in progress, which is a future design. So I am using a yarn that I got last year in April at the Knit It festival in Lyon. By the way, if you're somewhere around Europe or like the UK, we know you don't want to be with us anymore, you don't want to play with us anymore, but in April, 4 and 5th of April, is a yarn festival in Lyon. So Lyon is like the third biggest city in France. I think it's like near the Alps, sort of. So it's like in the middle, right in the middle. It's really accessible for everyone, and it's a really lovely festival, and it has a ton of nice yarn vendors from, a lot of them are French, but there's La Bien-Aimée, for example, which you know. L'Enamouré, you may know as well, is going to be there. Lots of people, and then there's a little bit more of an international vendors as well. There's Kettle, Yarn Co, Linda is going to be there. There's a lot of Spanish yarn dyers as well. Robledal de la Santa, I think, is going to be there. Dilana is going to be there. I think Lani Vendole is going to be there. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it like this. It's Italian, I guess. But anyway, and it's going to be a really good festival, and the vendors list is amazing. And there's food, because it's meat eat, right? So food, and none of that 0 calorie yarn nonsense. I'm not gonna get into that, but you know what I'm talking about if you're over Instagram. Yarn and food together, all of it, and it's gonna be lovely. And last year was amazing. This year is gonna be better because there's gonna be an even wider space. There's gonna be a knitting area where you can sit. It's gonna be lovely. Basically all of the French dyers are there, not all of them, but a lot of the French dyeing scene is there, a lot of more international people as well, like I said. So if you're around Europe and you're looking for a yarn festival to go, and you can check if you're easily if it's an easy trip for you to make, that would be lovely to see a lot of different people there. And so basically early April, a yarn show in Lyon. And I know people from the UK, like, you don't need more yarn festival, you have so many of them. But within France, it's quite nice to have. Well, there's quite a few now, but I think that there's like maybe 2 that are really knitting focused, and this is one of them. And it's really nice, and I'm really happy that it exists. But yeah, like I said, the UK, we're not friends anymore, apparently. So, sorry, this is horrible. We'll see, right? I got this at last time, Knit Eat in Lyon. And I got this from Maison Corlène, which is a French dyer that I love, that is really, really great. I really like them, really appreciate what they're doing. Really pleasant to work with, even though I'm sometimes an idiot. But yeah, they very kindly gifted them to me, actually, when they saw that I wanted to take them for a design. So very nice of them, and I'm finally doing it. So I kind of changed my mind about 20 times about this. At first, I knew I wanted to make a colorwork sweater with the colorwork mostly on the body and on the sleeves. I didn't want it to be a yoke. First it was supposed to be a drop shoulder, but now I decided it's a raglan. And about the colorwork motif, I changed my mind about 20 billion times as well. I changed my mind last night. So, I think for the last time, I hope. Anyway, so it's a raglan, top down. As usual, I have completely redone a new raglan system, because why be easier on myself when I can just restart all over and try new things every time I do a raglan. So it's a raglan. It's like a not especially loose nor fitted nor thin raglan. It's like normal raglan with a thick lines, because I've unintentionally gone for a vintagey vibe for this raglan. About the neckline, I tried to deepen it here. You know, I love closed necks. I know not a lot of people like them. I do really like them, and so I'm trying to make more open neckline, but even when I try, it looks like I'm failing. So, not my fault, it's fate. But yeah, I tried to deepen it here. We'll see if that worked. I actually didn't try it on. Bad designer. Bad designer. But I don't know, it looks good. Anyway, maybe it's not gonna be as open as I'll try to make it, but that will be fixed for the next time I try to make it more open. Like I didn't want it to be open like this. I wanted it to be open here, not here. And so I tried something. In any case, raglan. And so the colorwork is here. And so the thing is, this is a fingering weight yarn. It's a thick fingering weight. It's non-superwash French merino. And I kind of knew it would accommodate a big gauge, a bigger gauge than what you would think. It's not exactly the same feel as Release from the Hero Natura. It's a little bit more bloomy, it's a little bit soft, it's much softer. And in the knitting, it's a little bit more irregular, but in a sort of positive sense, because it blurs the fabric altogether, and in colorwork it's really beautiful. And I'm using 4mm needle, and if I remember right, because I haven't looked at my pattern that I bought a while ago, I think I'm around the 20 stitch gauge, 20 to 22 maybe, I don't know, but it doesn't look open, and so that's why I only got 2 balls of this and 1 of the contrasting color. And even though I knew I could knit that yarn at a big gauge and that I wouldn't need that much yarn, I sort of wasn't unsure of how long I could make the body. So basically that's why I decided to make the sleeves first. But actually, one of the cakes, so 375 meters of yarn, so about 400 yards, I did the whole raglan, I did the whole main color portion of the body, so until here, and then I did 1 sleeve until here with 375 meters. So it goes a long way. And yeah, I think I'm actually gonna have more yarn than I thought, and I'm gonna be quite comfortable. I do want it to be cropped, so I'll see how long I can stop it. And yeah, basically this is what it looks like. It has this really simple, basic, vintagey dot-like colorwork motif, 4x2 rib, which I really like, 4x2 rib here as well. And so basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to tweak a little bit the colorwork here. And so it's gonna be quite a simple knit, okay, quite a simple project, but you're gonna have to read my nonsense about color dominance, because what I did is that on the sleeve, the yarn that does the motifs, like the diamondy thing, is my contrast color, so you put that as a dominant yarn. But on the body I wanted to reverse it, so the yarn that does the motif, that you kind of want to be dominant, is the main yarn. So that's the thing. You have to pay attention. You don't have to do it, you can shift it, and quite frankly it's not that big of a deal visually, it's just being picky. But yeah, that's the motif I've gone for on the body. Basically it's a reversed version of this bit here that I'm doing here. And I've changed my mind because I wanted to do the whole motif first, but I thought this would look really oldish, too oldish. So I think I'm just gonna do this and repeat it till the end, because that looks quite cool, right? Right? It looks nice. And I haven't decided yet if the hem, which is gonna be 4x2 rib again, is gonna be in the main color or in the contrast color. Originally I wanted it to be in a contrast color, but I think it's gonna look odd. So if I can make it in the main color, and I do have quite a lot of it left, and yeah, so I'm gonna try to do it like this. But yeah, it sort of looks like a vintage type of sweater. I don't know why. I like it. It's quite fun. I think the colors do a lot of it as well. So basically the base is grayish, so the colors are a bit washed out, and it makes this really beautiful bluish thing. This is Philomène, and this is Léon, which is this light grey. But yeah, as you can see, it's like really muted sort of grayish colors, and I think it contributes to the vintage mood I'm getting. And I'm really curious to see how this would look in different colors. But yeah, this doesn't have a name. It's a code name Corlène. So and yeah, I really want to put out a call for test knits soon for this one. I hope this weekend. Hopefully I can do that if I can make my measurements table soon. Again, if you ever want to take part in test knitting, you just have to send me your email address via a message on Ravelry, and I will add you to the list, and you will receive the test calls. And I have no fancy requirements. Just if I have too many people on the same slot of size or for the same test, I pick randomly. Most of the time I can't pick because I'm heartbroken, and that's how you end up with 50,000 testers for one project. I like seeing my designs in various yarns and on various people. I just think it's better, so whatever. Everyone tests everything. Come and join. But yeah, in case you're interested in testing my designs, that's how you get the notifications. Send me your email. And yeah, so I've said everything. I think that's it. I've covered all my project for this time. A quick word on Patreon, because we are at the beginning of the month. So in case you don't know, I do have a Patreon page where you can get my designs if you want. It's another way for you to buy my designs. If you're interested in a particular design for a certain month, that because basically you get a code and you can get any design from my shop. You don't have to get the designs that are coming on said month. So you can come and join for a month and get a pattern. It's most of the time a little bit more affordable for you that way. And yeah, this is how Patreon works. You just come and go and you do whatever you want. And basically when you are there, starting from the second level, so the $5 level, you have also access to videos. Now, I record those videos in French, but I do spend time subtitling them. So yeah, in case that interests you, this month's theme is gauge. What is gauge? What really is gauge? How it's completely unrelated to swatching. I mean, it's not completely unrelated to swatching, but you can be mindful about gauge even if you don't swatch. Yeah, what's its implication on the knitted fabric. And basically it's funny, so I record the videos in French, right? And then I have to subtitle them in English, and basically I just listened to myself for 50 minutes saying needle size doesn't matter, we don't care about needle size information is pointless. That's what the video is, 15 minutes of that. And so that's what I subtitled. So yeah, if you're interested in that, that's there. And you also have access to the previous videos. I think I did forget last time to tell you what January videos were. So basically, when you join Patreon for a month, so you have the patterns, the whole Patreon is in bilingual, so there's French and then there's English. Yeah, it's just the videos that you kind of have to deal with the subtitles, but you can come for the patterns. I mean, that's cool. And in case you're interested in the videos, you don't only have access to this month's videos, you can see the past videos as well. And for January, it was a discussion on fibers and basically the characteristics and the results that you can get with a rustic yarn like Holscar and Super Soft. That was January's theme. But yeah, and this month is gauge. So in case you're interested in joining my Patreon, I would be very happy to welcome you there. I have lots of nice videos planned, but yeah, I appreciate that mostly for my English speaking people, community around here. If you come for Patreon, mostly for the patterns, that is perfectly fine, and like I said, most of the time it's more affordable for you to do that. And again, I know there's a little pressure about when you have subscribed to someone's Patreon, you kind of feel bad when you're living, if you're unsubscribing, and I don't care. I do that constantly. I have a list of people I follow on Patreon, and then I move my memberships from one people to another all the time. It's just, I can't support everyone, so I just shifts. And yeah, it's just normal, and I really view it as another way for you to get my pattern if you like. So feel free to have a look at that if you're interested. And with that, I think I can conclude this episode. We will see each other again in the middle of February. I have some really nice plans for then, and hopefully some cool progress to show you on my current whips. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're having a nice start of the year. I hope February is going to be a little bit nicer to us than January was. But yeah, take care, and I will see you next time. Bye!